Crows are fascinating animals, and the more you learn about them, the more you're going to be blown away by the things that they can do. So today I'm going to tell you 5 things you may not have known about crows. But first, let's start off with some numbers. There are about 50 different species of crows worldwide, and they live on every continent except Antarctica and South America. And they're very adaptable, so they can live in a wide variety of different habitats. And even though they can be quite common in certain areas, they're actually some of the smartest animals on the planet. So let's start off with our fact number 1. Crows can recognize faces. And there are actually stories of people going out and building relationships with their neighborhood crows. Sometimes they'll leave little gifts for them and the crows will actually bring things back like shiny objects. And it's fascinating to kind of dive into research and Reddit threads about this topic and see how people are kind of interacting with the crows in their area. So they may have a negative reaction if you're mean to your neighborhood crows, or a positive reaction if you're befriending your neighborhood crows. And it seems like they can actually pass this information to other crows, which goes to our number 2 here, is that crows can hold generational grudges. So if you're mean to a crow, they can pass that down to their offspring, and you could have generations of crows that react positively or negatively to you. Now, there was a study that was done where a researcher captured crows wearing a mask, so that had a very specific look to it, and he caught these crows, banded them, and released them. And for about 17 years, the crows in that area would scold the person wearing that mask. So anytime they saw that person, they would have a negative reaction to that. So it seems about 17 years was when that started to taper off in that study. I was looking around, it seems like 25 years was another number I saw thrown out. Probably hard to gauge, a completely accurate amount of time that crows will hold generational grudges for, but it's fascinating that they can have reactions to individual faces, tell their offspring about it, and then have an entire community either think positively or negatively about a certain individual. So next time you're thinking about being mean to a crow, think about what that might mean for you for the next 17 years of your life. Number 3. Crows can use tools, and sometimes they can actually create new tools. So in the bird world, it's a pretty big deal if a bird can actually use a tool to help them in their process of getting food or just surviving. So certain types of crows have been documented bending wires into hooks, dropping nuts onto the road and waiting for cars to run them over so they're able to access the meat inside, or putting food at crosswalks and then getting it later after the traffic runs over the food source. And there were some experiments done where they showed crows different situations and then gave them different options for tools. And oftentimes they were actually able to pick the tool that they would need to get that food source and have the reaction that they wanted. So this is some pretty serious problem solving in the animal world. Number 4, crows hold funerals. Sort of. Sometimes when a crow dies, you'll see a bunch of crows gathered around it. And this has kind of been talked about as crow funerals, but it's not as much a funeral as it is an autopsy. So they're smart enough that they'll gather around and try to see if they can figure out the cause of death so that they can prevent more deaths in the crow world. So they're there trying to gather information, calling, and it does seem like it's, somewhat of a funeral, although it seems like it's more that they're just trying to gather information. So it's kind of comparable to a community safety meeting. And I've heard that there are some other things that can go on at these gatherings that, probably aren't suitable for a YouTube video, but if you want to research them on your own, there's even more to learn about these crow funerals or crow autopsies. And number 5, crows are as smart as children. So we've talked a lot about crow intelligence, and there's been studies showing that they're about as smart as a 5 to 7-year-old human child. So they can actually plan multiple steps ahead, understand cause and effect, and solve puzzles. So in some experiments, they were even able to demonstrate self-control, choosing a better reward instead of taking an immediate one, which is something that a lot of animals struggle with. So this intelligence is similar to primates, dolphins, elephants, a lot of these animals that we consider extremely smart. Crows are right up there on that level, and they're even as smart as your 5 to 7-year-old child. So those are 5 things you may not have known about crows. They're incredibly awesome animals. Let me know your favorite fact in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. We'll